Hello, welcome to Dungeons and GURPS. I'm Narish Eggplant and this is going to be something new. I was asked to show other people how a typical GURPS fight works. But this is not going to be a very typical fight. So I have played out this fight before in the past with one of my friends, and I posted a turn-by-turn rundown of it on my blog. I'm going to link it in the description, but today I'm going to show you this on video. I'm not going to make any rolls because everything is already predetermined. If you want to see the details, I'll link the text file in the description. So this, what you can see here, is Foundry VTT, virtual tabletop. This is, in my opinion, the best option to play GURPS online. Even if you're playing it offline, you can use it just as a map for combats, because hex grids are not that easy on paper. And I am not very proficient with Foundry yet. I am yet to learn many, but I'll show you some of the basic features. If you want to, you can watch Chris Norman's production videos. He has some good ones. Maybe I should watch them too, because learning all of it by yourself can be quite intimidating. So, our combatants here are a thug and a Tiefling warrior. I have, you can have these journal entries here, or you can have actors or sheets. They are for my other game. Don't mind me. I have just copied the stat blocks here. So as you can see, the thug is quite strong and slightly more agile than average, and has quite good health value. He is armed with a broadsword. He also has a dagger and a blackjack. Just not everything at once, just as an option. His skill levels are not very good, and he has armor on his torso. He just 11. This is going to be a low skill fight. That's why it's going to take some time. And the Tiefling warrior, he does not have any exceptional strength or health values, but he's much more agile. Dexterity 12 and Dexterity 11, that's actually a big difference. His armor is worse. He has some elemental resistance, but we do not care about that in this fight. He also has a rapier and a pistol crossbow. And also a single-use spell-like ability to create a zone of darkness. By the way, this is not how I do it this time. I mean, I have reworked this ability for my games because I find such things as once per day or twice per day spell-like abilities to be just game abstractions. I just usually assign, for example, 2 FP cost for a once per day ability, 3 to make it more limited, because this is just this really makes sense to me. So okay, let's close them. As you can see, you can set up a hex grid here. What I don't like about Foundry is that you do not have coordinates by default. You have to download another module. Here I have toggle coordinates here. This is often very useful to me, because I often play by post games, and where you have to take a screenshot of your map and without the coordinates, the other players cannot really take the returns properly. But we do not need it for this particular engagement. So we have some obstacles here, just a round pillar, a fence, a pile of rocks, and a pool of water. The fight starts with 11 yards between the fighters. As you can see, the ruler here also tells you the range modifier, range penalty from the size and speed range table, so you do not have to do the lookups. This is very useful. So you can see they are 11 yards apart, so ranged attacks take a -5 penalty. This is probably one of the most useful features here. Both of them have basic speed 6, so since they are tied, the turn order is determined by dexterity. Tiefling has higher dexterity, so he goes first. By the way, we decided that both of the contestants start with their weapons ready. So for the thug, that's a broadsword and a dagger, and for Tiefling, this is a rapier and pistol's crossbow. So turn 1. Oh, by the way, there's a combat tracker here. See and begin combat. This round 1. Cool. The Tiefling takes a step forward. That's something of a free action, basically. And just fires a shot with his pistol crossbow. The distance becomes 10. Yes, 10 yards. And this decreases the penalty from 5 to 4. That's significant. His crossbow skill is 13, so he rolls against 13 - 4, that's 9. I am not making any rolls here, so but during the actual fight he rolled 7 against 9, so that's a potential hit. The thug rolls his dodge, because you can dodge ranged attacks. His dodge is 10, that's very good, because he has combat reflexes, they both have reflexes. The thug rolls against 10, rolls an 8, dodges it successfully. He is unharmed. The thug then takes his turn. He performs a move and attack maneuver, moving 4 yards forward. 2, 3, 4. And throws his dagger. The distance is 6 yards. That's -3 range penalty. Let's check speed. So he, in GURPS you can either target the torso at no penalty, or you can opt for a random hit location. That's optional. Some people do not like this, some people do like this. Some people use random hit locations only for certain attacks, like Rainfire or Wild Swings. Not sure which I prefer. So, but for this attack, we decided that he rolls a random hit location, but his thrown weapon knife skill is only 11. 11 minus 3 is 8, right? So he rolls against 8, but rolls 12, and that's a miss. Okay. Alright. Wait, why does it say that he rolls against 6? Let me think. Yes. This is because this is a move and attack, so ranged attacks take -2 to hit. So he rolls against 11 -3 and -2. So rolls against 6. So moving and attacking is difficult. He rolls at 12 and misses. That's unfortunate. Turn. Turn 2. The Tiefling performs a concentrate maneuver and spends 1 FP to cast his darkness spell-like ability. And he creates a... he created? He targets a hex in front of him. And this is an area effect. There is no range penalty at 1 yard. See? 0. And when you target a hex, you get a +4 bonus to hit. This attack is targeted by innate attack base. That's 13 plus 4, that's 17. He rolls against 17 and gets 13. So the darkness appears where intended. And you can see here there is template. See? This is a zone of darkness. Imposes a -3 penalty on all tasks that relate on normal vision. But the Tiefling, he has infravision, so he ignores it. Okay, what's next? The Thug. The Thug moves forward 5 yards. See? I'm just consulting the map just to see where I should Thug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not where it's supposed to be. But yes, he has move 6. And let's change facing. To change facing, you hold the shift button and use the mouse wheel. There is a mistake here. Usually, you have to take a ready maneuver to move a weapon from one hand to another. And apparently, I only noticed it once. This is now. We forgot about it, so we'll just treat that the Thug had 2 right hands. One for the dagger, one for the broadsword. Or maybe he did a quick swap maneuver. It can be done with a perk. Anyway, this is just an oversight. Okay, next, turn 3. The Tiefling steps sideways to be in the center of the darkness. See here. Okay, let's open it. And the rapier has reached 1, 2. So from this area of darkness, he can perform a thrust. He thrusts at the Thug. That's his skill is 13. Here, 13. He rolls against 13 and rolls 9. That's a potential hit. The Thug, again, his dodge is not penalized here. He rolls to dodge against 10, rolls a 7, and the thrust does not connect. Okay. The Thug, he steps forward, evaluates. Yes, evaluate is a very useful maneuver when dealing with low skill levels. Oh wait, I think I'm supposed to actually move 5 yards here, then step. This is just by maps. No, actually, no, he steps in. That's correct. I did not do a good job with the maps, so he performs the evaluate maneuver. This is going to increase his skill for the next attack by 1. And that's actually significant. Round 4. The Tiefling changes facing. He actually was supposed to face this way. Changes facing to face the thug. Takes a step back. And thrusts again. He rolls against 13. Rolls a 5. It's a potential hit. The thug decides to dodge. His dodge is not penalized by darkness. I guess. Oh, that's just how it works. You know, active defenses, they actually are penalized. Like it's described somewhere in a Chrome post. It's not in the rule book. It's very confusing at first. You're dealing with darkness penalty. But let's say he is not penalized. I think the penalty is actually -1 for this. This is one of the tricky rules questions. So the thug decides to dodge. He rolls against 10 but rolls 12. That's a failure, so it actually connects. The Tiefling rolls damage. The 1d -1 impaling. He rolls a 4. The thug has a light mail on his torso, see? That provides flexible DR3. This asterisk means that armor is flexible. This is more or less irrelevant for this fight. So only 1 point of damage goes through. 4 - 3 is 1. But since this is impaling damage, it's torso, it is multiplied by 2. So the thug takes 2 points of injury. That's it, duck. Oh, by the way, this is great. So, and now, since the thug does not have high pain threshold, he is penalized by 2 for shock for the next turn. So now it's his turn. The thug realized that attacking here is pointless. He is at -3 for darkness, 2 from shock and +1 from evaluating. So he takes a step forward and evaluates again. So that's +2. Turn 5. Okay. The Tiefling drops his pistol crossbow and takes out his light small shield. Does he the shield, right? Yes, he does. The shield has a defense bonus 1, so it only takes 1 ready maneuver to ready. I think it's number of maneuvers equal to DB. So now his defenses get a +1 bonus. They actually 11. They were at 10 before that. You know, shields are very strong GURPS. They increase all your defense. This is very good, especially compared to D&D where shields are a bit underwhelming. Okay, let's see. The thug. The thug swings his broadsword. See, you can use the broadsword swing or thrust. This is not a thrusting broadsword, so it does this. I mean, it does crushing damage on thrust attacks and cutting damage on. his skill is 11, he does not take a shock penalty anymore. He is penalized by 3 for darkness, and he gets a +2 bonus for evaluating twice before, so his effective skill is 10. He rolls against 10, but rolls 12 and misses. That's unfortunate. Turn 6. Tiefling performs an all-out defense improved parry. His parry will be increased by 2 to be 13. F means that fencing will. He is trying to bait out an attack for a riposte. That's an additional option from GURPS Martial Arts, page 124, 125. Something of a counter-attack. And all maneuvers are obvious except for feint. So the thug knows that the Tiefling is taking all-out defense. So the thug steps and evaluates, not taking the bait. He steps this way. Right? Yes, right. And change facing. Turn 7. This is going to be a long fight. Turn 7. The Tiefling takes a step forward to the center of the darkness, changes facing to face the thug, and thrusts, targeting the thug's groin. That's a -3 penalty. So he rolls against 10. 13 minus 3 equals 10, but rolls 12, fortunately for the thug. The thug does a run-around attack. That's a move and attack. 1, 2, 3. To attack the Tiefling from the back. But typically, if the attacker started the combat, started the round in the back and attacks from the back, the defender cannot defend. This is very strong. So flanking in position is very important in combat in GURPS. But since the Tiefling has seen the thug run around him, he can treat this as an attack from the side. So he can defend, but at -2. So the thug makes a roll. That's 11 minus what? -3 for darkness. That's 8. Again. Wait. He evaluated, so that's actually 12 minus 3 for darkness. That's 9, and -4 for moving and attacking. So that's heroes against 5. That's a very small chance to hit. Heroes 12. That's not even close. At turn 8. The Tiefling turns around to face the thug and evaluate. The thug steps back and does all-out defense improved dodge to get dodge 12. Turn 9. Tiefling evaluates, thug evaluates. Turn 10. See how quick some turns can be. Turn 10. The Tiefling thrusts at the sword arm of the thug, as he gets +2 from evaluating twice and -2 from hit location, so he rolls against 13. But he rolls 14. That's a miss. Wait. Doesn't it hit the torso? Look it up very quick. Give me a second. Like GURPS basics. Okay, where is it? No. There is a rule where I miss by one when hitting neck and face, it's the torso instead. This does not apply to arms. It's all good. So the thug actually moves back 2 yards. Yeah, let's see the position. There. He is taking cover behind a pile of rocks. Turn 11. The Tiefling. Steps. Forward? No. He steps this way, it seems. Drops his shield and grabs his crossbow. And again, this is a mistake. Because to pick an item up from the ground, you have to take 2 maneuvers. One change posture maneuver to kneel, one maneuver, ready maneuver to grab it. So that was another mistake. But yes, it didn't really matter much. The thug does a ready maneuver to ready another dagger. Turn 12. Yes, so now the Tiefling realizes that he cannot actually reload his crossbow with one hand. So he takes a ready maneuver to sheath his rapier. The thug runs and performs a drop kick. Yes, that's a technique from GURPS martial arts. As you can see, the thug has dexterity 11 and brawling 11, so he invested 1 point into the brawling skill. Does not do anything aside from just allowing the usage of some brawling techniques, and dropkick is one of them. So he not only does a dropkick, he does it as an allowed determined attack. He does not know the technique, but it defaults to brawling -1. So he rolls against 11 because he is penalized 3 for darkness, by 1 for not knowing technique, and he gets a +4 bonus for allowed determined attack. So they equalize each other, and he rolls against 11. So he runs. I'm just trying to see how he would land. Oh, let me draw his legs. I don't know how to stretch tokens. Yes, he is. He does a drop kick, rolls against 11, rolls a 7. The Tiefling does a retreating dodge. That's where is it? 13 plus. Why is it? Retreated retreat. It gives a +3 bonus. So he rolls against 14, 13, like it's written in the blog post, and rolls exactly 13. So he barely makes it and retreats here. Yes, retreat is a very powerful tool in defense, especially if you're using a fencing weapon. So if you're a GM, make sure to make a lot of obstacles, difficult terrains to make a position even more important, and just don't make fights on featureless plains. It's much less fun. that way. So he barely makes it. Ah, yes, this the dropkick has an additional reach. That's why. So he makes it. The thug is now lying on his back. Uh, yes, this is where we made another mistake. The dropkick is a form of a slam, and if you miss with a slam, you have to move 2 more yards. So actually should have landed here. But this will not make any difference here. So let's just our mistake. Where are his legs? Okay, this is but since Rapier has a higher reach, this mistake didn't actually make. So turn 13. The Tiefling steps behind the pillar, changes facing, and begins reloading his crossbow. This takes 4 seconds, so he is only 1/4 done. If he had a weapon ready, Rapier, he would have thrusted at the thug and would be very, very bad for the thug because his line defending line down is difficult. So the thug does a change posture maneuver to move from lying on his back to kneeling. You can reset states here. Kneeling. And let's go facing. Right? Then turn 14. The Tiefling does another ready maneuver to reload. That's 2 out of 4 ready maneuvers done. So here we realize that this darkness was supposed to run out already. But we expected this fight to be done in 3 or 4 seconds like normal GURPS fights. So let's remove this darkness. Okay. Lasts only 10 seconds. And the thug goes from kneeling to standing. Move. The way, see, you can do all sorts of modifiers here. And then just click the button to make. This is very cool. Not really use that. I calculate everything myself. But I can see how this can speed something up. So turn 15. The Tiefling does another ready maneuver to reload. That's 3 out of 4 done. The thug moves sideways. He should. Yes, this way. Changes facing. This move and attack. He moves sideways and throws the knife at the Tiefling. Range is 3 yards. That's a -1 penalty for distance. And an additional -2 for moving and attacking. So that's 11. That's 3. That's 8. I have no idea why it says that the thug rolls against 10. Because it should have been a roll against 8. Right? Right. So he rolls against 8 and rolls an 8. The Tiefling, you cannot retreat from ranged attacks, aside from area attack. You want to step out the area of effect. But you can do a dodge and drop to basically change your posture to lying down and get a bonus equal to so the Tiefling does a dodge and drop. His dodge should be 14 now. Hero skins 14 and gets 11. That was a smart move because, you know, he escaped the attack and did not spoil his. Did he? No. So he is now legs. He's now lying prone here. Turn 16. Here we realize that we're not sure if a dodge and drop should reset the reloading timer, but I decided that it should not. So the Tiefling finishes reloading the crossbow and falls back. You can step while being on the ground. Okay. His crossbow is ready now. The thug. He moves up as a part of all-out attack, determined, thrusts at the Tiefling torso. So he rolls against 15. That's a broadsword. 11 plus 4 for all-out determined. Yes, you can move when doing all-out determined attacks, but only half your move and only forward in a straight line. He rolls against 15 and rolls 13. That's a success. The Tiefling does a retreating dodge. Yes, you can retreat while on the ground by rolling away. This is possible. Please. Let me move his legs first. Dodge is penalized heavily by being on the ground. Oh wait, I think I know why rolls were against 13 and 10 instead of 11 and 14. He dropped his shield. I forgot about that. So everything was correct. Block. So let's see. So his dodge takes a -3 penalty for posture and a +3 bonus that equalizes it from treating. So he rolls against 10 and rolls 12. He fails to defend properly. The thug rolls damage. Okay, that was a thrust, right? Yes, thrust. That's 1d crushing. He rolls 6 on 1d, that's maximum damage. That's strong. Yes, this is where we realize this is not a thrusting broadsword, so the damage is actually crushing, not impaling. The Tiefling has a medium leather armor torso that grants 2 DR, so 4 damage goes through. In this crushing damage there is no injury multiplier. This would have hurt much more if that was impaling damage. He is at 6 HP. Turn 17. The Tiefling goes from lying prone to kneeling. Let's delete his leg. What does the thug do? See. Where is it? I'm just trying to see relative positioning. Okay. this turn. Right? Right? Okay. I think he should, yes, since you're taking up 2 hexes, and get up to kneeling in this hex. So what does the thug do? What do you think? He runs and performs another dropkick. It's allowed attack determined. So he rolls against brawling -1 and +4. That's brawling 14. But he rolls a 15. So he misses and ends up on the ground again. Okay, that's weird. The blog says that it should look this. Yes, he twisted in flight or something like that. And again, we forgot that on a miss you have to move at least 2 yards past the target. Unfortunately. Okay, turn 18. The Tiefling stands up and he does in this hex. You can take a step and the thug goes from prone to kneeling. This hex. Turn 19. The Tiefling raises his rapier again. The thug stands up. Yes, there was also a step. I see. Turn 20. The Tiefling shoots the thug from his pistol crossbow, targeting the vitals. That's 4 yards distance. Wait, why does it say 3 yards? Okay, that's 4. No, let's move back. There was not supposed to be a step then. The distance is 3 yards. That's -1 penalty. And there's a -3 penalty for targeting the vitals. So he rolls again. Crossbow 4. That's 9. He rolls against 9 and rolls a 9. The thug rolls to dodge. He decides not to do a dodge and drop. He's very bold. He rolls against 10 and rolls 13. The dodge fails, so the Tiefling rolls damage. He rolls 1d and rolls a 3. And the 3 fails to penetrate the torso. The vitals are protected by torso too. And then the Tiefling steps back. That's position different. The thug. No, he does another dropkick. Why not? Again, as an all-out attack determined. He runs up, rolls against 14, rolls a 13. The Tiefling decides to try a retreating parry. The rapier is a fencing weapon, so when you do a retreat, you get not a +1 but a +3 bonus. This is very good. According to rules for parrying heavy weapons, that's on page 376 of GURPS basic set, the effective weight of a slam, dropkick as a slam, equals to the slammer's strength. So that's 12 pounds. The rapier's weight is 2.75 pounds. You cannot see it here. So on a successful parry, there is a 1 to 3. So basically a 50% chance of the rapier breaking. The Tiefling rolls parry. He rolls against 13. He no +1 bonus from the shield. And rolls 8. That's a successful parry. Then he rolls 1d to determine whether the weapon breaks or not. He rolls a 3, so his rapier actually breaks. The often forgotten broken weapons sidebar on page 485 of Heroes Basics says that another roll of 1d is required. The Tiefling rolls another 6-sided die, rolls 1. That means that the blade snaps in the middle, and the rapier is now treated as a small sword. He is still armed. The Tiefling does not have the small sword skill, however, but he can default from his rapier, so his small sword is effectively 10, because it defaults to rapier -3. The parry is still considered to be successful, and the thug falls on the ground. He does not fly 2 yards. The Tiefling move the retreat and see it looks like this. Looks correct. This was a very complex turn with a lot of optional rules, but I think that they make it much more engaging. Round 21, the Tiefling takes a step forward and does all-out attack determined to thrust his small sword at the thug's torso. You can see the thug, he did an all-out attack, so he defend. No, this should not be treated for facing, because I made him face this way just and his actual line on his back, so he can see that if he would be able to defend if he didn't do an all-out attack. So the Tiefling also does an all-out attack. He thrusts his small sword at the thug's torso. So he rolls against 14 because rapier -3 to default and +4 for all-out attack equals 14. And he rolls a 14. The thug cannot defend, so the Tiefling rolls damage. I do not remember what the damage for the small sword is, but oh yes, it also is 1d -1. He rolls a 4. So again, we deduct 3 from and get 1 point of penetrating damage, and since this is impaling damage, it becomes 2 points of injury. So the thug is now at 8 HP. And on his turn, it goes to turn 22. The Tiefling takes a step forward and tries to deliver a stab at a random hit location. He rolls against 10 and rolls 11. That's a miss. The thug stands up as a change posture maneuver. And you can stand up from kneeling as a step action, not as a change posture maneuver. And swings his broadsword at the Tiefling's torso. He does not take a shock penalty anymore. He rolls against 11 and rolls a 6. The Tiefling performs a retreating dodge. So he rolls against 13, 10 plus retreating. And he rolls 12, so he successfully defends. Turn 23. The Tiefling throws his pistol crossbow at the thug's groin. Yes, it defaults to... I think throwing defaults to dexterity -4 or -5. And yes, the end is the resulting effective skill level is only 5. That's -3 for groin. Yes, so throwing defaults to dexterity 4 and an additional minus 4 target hit location. He rolls against 5 and rolls a 7, so he misses. The thug does a move and attack to move into Tiefling's X. Troll, shift. Yes, to prevent snap to the grid, downshift. They're in the same hex now. And grapples Tiefling's sword arm. He uses dexterity to hit, and he applies -1 for hit location. Just because hit location penalties are halved grappling. He rolls against 10 and rolls a 9. And this is where we realize that we forgot another -4 from using move and attack. You can imagine that he actually rolled against 6 and rolled a 6. The Tiefling tries to do a retreating parry. He takes a step back and rolls against 11. Why 11? Ah yes, because his small sword skill is lower. And he rolls at 13. That's a failure. So his arm gets grabbed. He also gets failed to retreat because it would make sense to grapple when your arms are not done. He gets grabbed. Sword arm. Turn 24. The Tiefling tries to kick the thug in the groin. Here we realize that the Tiefling does not have the brawling skill, so he cannot use the knee strike and similar techniques. Well, the thug can use the default thanks to having a point in the brawl. So the Tiefling will kick and rolls against 7. Let's see, how was it calculated? So kicks are made at dexterity -2, that's 10, and -3 for target groin. He does not take a penalty from being grappled because his arm is being grappled, not his leg. So he rolls against 7 and rolls 8. And this is where he should have hit the torso, because he only misses by 1. But we forgot that. I guess we can just say that the thug defended successfully. And since this is kick, if you miss it with 1, you have to roll against your dexterity to remain standing. But this was not actually. This might have been a miss. But anyway, the Tiefling rolls against 12 and rolls an success. Again, the thug, thanks to having a point in the brawling skill, does an all-out attack determined headbutt from GURPS martial arts. He rolls against 9, rolls 13. That's a miss, unfortunately. Round 25. The Tiefling rolls against dexterity. It's 12 to grab the torso of the thug with his free hand. He rolls against 12 and rolls a 9. That's a success. He grabs the thug successfully because the thug performed an all-out attack and cannot defend. The thug tries an all-out attack determined knee strike. Yes, he can do it against the Tiefling's groin. That's he rolls against 10 and rolls 15. That's a miss. Turn 26. The Tiefling tries to perform a takedown. Both contestants roll against the higher of their strength, dexterity, and grappling skills. None of them have grappling skills. The Tiefling rolls against 12 and rolls a 7. That's a margin of success of 5. The thug rolls against 12, his strength. rolls a 6. That's a margin of success of 6. So the Tiefling falls down. That was a failed attempt. Presented on the map. He is knocked prone here, that's his legs. And the thug opts to release his grip. So he's not grappling the Tiefling anymore. Then the thug does an all-out attack determined to swing Tiefling's neck. So that's -5 from targeting the neck and +4 from all-out attack. He rolls again and gets a 9. The Tiefling makes a retreating defense, rolling into the water. So he rolls against 10 because he's penalized by 3 and gets a 3 bonus, and he does not have a shield ready, so his dodge is 10 for this. He rolls there. His legs roll with him. What am I doing? Where is it? He rolls into the water, rolling against 10, rolls a 10, so that was very close. You know, there's actually rules in one of the pyramids for grazing hits. If you defend only by 1, or roll an exact defense, or if you miss a hit, or make a hit only by 1, you still hit, but you deal much less damage. That's if you want even more detail. I haven't tried that, but I want to try them. So, turn 27. The Tiefling goes from prone to kneeling. Legs. You do that? Side of water, probably. The pool. Okay, the thug does another all-out determined attack, swing at the Tiefling's neck. He rolls against them, gets 8. That's a hit. The Tiefling parries with his small sword, rolling against 8, and rolls a 6. That's a luck success. So he is on round 28. We're still not done. The Tiefling stands up as a step and stabs the thug. He rolls against 10 and rolls a 5. The thug cannot defend, so the Tiefling rolls damage. He rolls 2, and that does not penetrate DR. Then the thug does an all-out attack determined to thrust at the Tiefling's face. He rolls against is it? Broadsword 11, +4 for all-out attack, -5 for targeting the face. That's 10. He rolls 11. That's a miss by 1, so it hits torso instead. The Tiefling dodges. He does not retreat in the water because fighting in the water is very difficult. So he rolls against 10 and rolls a 10. He barely makes 29. The Tiefling drops his small sword and goes for a two-handed grab at the thug's torso. He steps in. He rolls against 2. Okay, it's 12. And lands a hit. He rolls a. The thug cannot defend, so he is grappled now. This he grappled. This against shows that all-out attacks are very dangerous. You can get grappled or hit easily. The thug does the same. He drops his sword and goes for a two-handed grab at the Tiefling's torso. So that's 11 plus 4, 15, and -2 from being grappled is -2. is off here. I don't know. Shouldn't be -4. But anyway, he succeeds. The Tiefling tries to dodge. He rolls 12 against 10 and he fails. The grapple becomes mutual. Yes, you should also keep in mind that in GURPS, melee fights very often go down to grappling. So investing point in grappling skills is always a good idea. So you actually win in such situations. Turn 30. The Tiefling releases the grip on one of his arms and tries to punch the thug. He rolls against 8 because he is penalized by 4 for being grappled, and rolls 10. That's a miss. The thug releases the grip of one of his hands and tries to perform an one-handed ear clap. That's a technique from GURPS Martial Arts, page 7, as an all-out attack determined. He rolls against 8 and rolls a 16, that's even close. A successful ear clap could have stunned the Tiefling. So turn 31. The Tiefling releases his other hand and goes for an all-out attack determined to grab the thug's neck with both hands. He rolls against 10 and rolls 11. That's a miss. It misses by 1, but this is a also we had no idea should it have grappled the torso or not. We decided that it does not. Then the thug goes for an all-out attack strong telegraphic punch to the Tiefling's face. So he rolls against what? The dexterity 11 hold, -5 from targeting face and +4 from being a telegraph. So he rolls against 10 and rolls a 9. The Tiefling cannot defend. He made an all-out attack. So the thug rolls damage. His thrust -1 damage. 1d -1 as his punch damage. He rolls a 2. Any injury to the face causes the defender to roll against health to avoid knockdown. So the Tiefling rolls against his HD 10 and rolls 12. So he drops to the ground. They are not grappled anymore and is stunned. Where is? I can see it. Let's remove. So he is actually knocked on the ground. Here. Okay, he is stunned. This is bad news for him. So turn 32. The Tiefling does nothing because he is stunned. He rolls against health at the end of his turn. He rolls against 10 and gets a 10. So he recovers. He will be able to act normally next turn, not this turn. The thug does an all-out attack determined stamp kick. That's again a technique from GURPS Martial Arts, page 80, at the Tiefling's torso. He rolls against 12 and rolls 14. That's, well, that's a miss. Rolling to not lose balance isn't necessary here because the thug cannot defend anyway. And turn 33, Tiefling punches the thug in the leg. The posture gives him -4 to attack rolls, but the additional posture rolls from page 99 of GURPS Martial Arts let him mitigate the -2 penalty for targeting the leg, because, you know, He's on the ground, it's easier to target the leg. He rolls against 8, that's 12 minus 4, and rolls 11, that's a miss. And the thug does an all-out attack determined stamp kick at the Tiefling torso again. Rolls against 12, rolls a 10, the Tiefling attempts an unarmed parry. His unarmed parry is 7 right now. The dexterity halved, 6, plus 3, 9, then plus 1 for combat reflexes, 10, and minus 3 for being on the ground, that's 7, right? He rolls 11. The thug rolls damage. For stamp kick, that's 1d, and he rolls a 6. This puts the Tiefling to 0 HP. So the Tiefling rolls against HT to stay conscious, he rolls against 10, rolls 13, and he is unconscious. He's not stunned. Is there a button? Not button? Status effect? Probably is. I just can't find. But anyway, he is out. He's out of the fight, and the thug basically won. That was a lot of fun. We missed some rules and tried to correct some of them for in this video. But that should be still a helpful illustration. This example shows us the difference between a strength-focused character and a dexterity-focused character, although the difference was not very significant. And we showed off some optional rules, some grappling rules, some even spellcasting rules. We haven't used some of the optional rules such as extra effort in combat, and the one when you have to roll 1d when hitting a torso to see if you hit the vitals, but still that was very involved. This fight took 33 turns. This is not normal. Usually fights go much quicker, but this was because the skill levels were relatively low. I mean, they're fine for normal people, but your typical adventurers should probably have at least 14 to 15 or 16 in their combat skills, if not more. No, some cinematic fighters can have skills 20 or 22 or even higher, but I prefer to keep my characters no higher to 16. 16 is already good. If you have read GURPS, How to be a GURPS GM, you will know that 14 is already an expert. So I really enjoyed this fight. I think it shows off a lot of neat rules. Too bad none of the dropkicks have connected. And if you have any suggestions or any other wishes or comments, feel free to post them. I read everything and I heart every post to just show that I've read it. So thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.